I think that by getting to know my professors, I've been able to, because of the personal contact, the relationships that you form, because you see your professors in public, like you see them downtown, you see them on campus, like you get to know them, and by having that sort of relationship, sometimes you feel a little bit obligated to take their course seriously and do a good job because you feel like you know them, and they're sort of like a neighbor, like a friend almost, so you don't want to mess up, it seems. I think that if I was at a bigger school, it would be easier to sort of just not take things as seriously sometimes because you don't have that commitment to your professor. I feel like I have a commitment to the professor sometimes to do a good job and take what he or she teaches seriously. And it's generally been my experience here that the professors are very interested in their students. You know, I think Acadia is doing a really great job in terms of support. For me, I've always felt that in my faculty, you know, I've gotten to know the profs, and I've always felt that I could go see a prof if I've had a problem.
I find it's easy to procrastinate a course because it's easy in the short term. And also I find if you don't like a subject or something very much, you tend to just put it off and not bother with it.
Have you had many courses of that nature that you didn't like too much? Or?
Not yet, actually. I've pretty much liked all my courses. And see, I'm a biology major, so I generally like biology and chemistry all right. But when I take history or something like that, it is such a new scope on the world, and it's such a different type of course that I find it very engaging and very interesting. And some of the courses I've actually enjoyed the most were history. Although I know that if I took them all history, I wouldn't enjoy it anymore, basically, because it's just the change which makes you interested.
I like the piece in Warfield, but I still need some friend. Once I getting more friend in here, I feel more comfortable. Like sometimes the environment is good, that's good, but you still need some support, some friends, some relationship. So both sides is very important to me.
I think it's a combination of those things. Our profs are all of the political science profs and all the profs that I've dealt with really are really approachable. You can talk to them about, you know, if you have problems, you can go and talk to them. You're not talking to TAs, you're not dealing with, you know, a middleman between your prof. You can actually see your prof. And over my 3 years here, I've gotten to really know my profs, and I really like my profs. And so it's been a really sort of comfortable place to be. I mean, my profs all know my name. When I'm writing my papers, they know who's writing it. They know what my work is. They know what my strengths and weaknesses are, so they can help me to improve a lot easier because they're not sort of looking at a new student that they don't know every time they're writing something. And through that, they've encouraged me to get involved in different things that I might not otherwise have gotten involved in. So this September, I ran for president of the Political Science Association from recommendations from profs who had said, you know, this might be a good idea. And
just you won?
Yeah, I did win, and I researched for a prof for last summer, or no, not last summer, the summer before last. I researched for a prof, so I got to experience what it's like to sort of do real research. So yeah, I was helping Dr. Susan Franciscat. She's gone to Calgary now, sadly, but she was researching to write a paper about gender quotas in Latin America. So yeah, it was a really interesting, and that's where I wrote my thesis on Latin America and Russia, so it was a really good learning experience for me, and it helped me.
Is this your honors thesis?
Yeah. In high school, your teacher sort of guides you along. They tell you when they want things done. They do things in steps. You know, you do one part of the assignment. They really tell you exactly what they want you to write. And here, you're going to come into especially political science, you're going to come into a first-year course. They're going to give you the essay topic, and they're not going to tell you how they want you to structure the essay. They're not going to tell you what they want you to write about. You just go. You just have to do it. And for a lot of students, that's overwhelming and then they get it back and they wrote an essay the way they would have in high school, and it's a lot different, so they're disappointed with, you know, the mark that they got because the whole style is different.
Yes.
Yeah, it was very frustrating to think that you come into university thinking that, you know, you're really prepared, you're really smart, you've done well in high school, you're going to do fine, and then suddenly they pull the rug out from underneath you, and it's like you have to learn how to write again and how to learn again. So it's frustrating. It's, you know, second and third year when things really start to click. It's fantastic because you feel really like you're starting to to learn something that's beyond just what your profs have told you. You're learning sort of bigger things. And like speaking up in class, or say, I'm not nervous about speaking up in class anymore because I'm not thinking, well, I don't know anything about this. I don't have anything to say. So it's a completely different attitude about knowledge than there was in high school. I think less do than should. I think a lot of students sort of are nervous about talking to their profs. Profs are sort of these big, really important people that we feel scared to approach and ask questions. And I think that if more students were to ask questions in class and get to know their prof and go to the prof's office hours, that would make a huge difference in their experience at university. I was in, a first year political science class, and the prof would ask a question, and there was silence. And the silence made me really uncomfortable. I didn't like it, nobody was talking. And so one day I just said, you know what, I'm gonna put my hand up, I'm gonna say something. And when the prof nods and says, yes, it's fantastic. And as soon as you get that feeling, then you're not scared of it anymore. Yeah. You're not, it makes it a lot easier to speak up next time. You just have to sort of jump in. Things are sort of a bigger deal than they need to be sometimes. But for me, in my undergrad experience, it's caused stress, but the stress is what has helped me succeed, because I'm worried about these things, and because I put a lot of stake in my work, I put a lot more effort into it too. Around grade 12, I got, sort of the kick that said, oh yeah, I have to do something after this. I need to, get into university and do well and do all those things. So in grade 12, it happened. And then, but going to talk to the prof and having that reason to go and make contact with the prof really sort of made it clear in my mind that we need to interact with our profs, and that you need to work, if you want the marks, you need to work harder. So it was a really bad experience, but it really put me on the right mind frame. It's a confidence and a drive thing at first, that when you come to university, you're at the bottom of the heap. You don't really know very much about anything that you're learning at school, and you sort of get into that mind frame that I am at the bottom of the heap and I don't know very much. And if you don't challenge those things, if you don't challenge yourself to do better the first time, I think you just fall into sort of the rut where you just keep, okay, well, I can't do any better than that. And you just keep sort of telling yourself that, and as an excuse not to have to go to talk to your prof and not to have to find out what's going on, because it sucks to have to go to a prof and say, I'm not happy with this, I didn't do well, can you tell me what I did wrong? Because you have to sort of take responsibility. Absolutely, the profs have been fantastic. I can't think of a prof I've had at Acadia who's not been open to talking to them in their office hours, or going to ask them about the course that you're taking.